on it. Yeah, just trade it into our system here. That's going to work. Yeah. Is that how that's going to work? Was I stepping in the right pile there?
Yeah, well, of course, they're going to show up as saviors in a time of calamity. Of course, that's
No, that's what it. Yeah, that's what they are. They're gonna give you double. Even they'll give you double the coin. Yeah.
Hey, what's going on, my flat earthers?
What up?
It's a Glober here.
I'm a Rippler. What do you think of that?
Careful where you say that. It might not be
What?
taken the right way.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a gay nickname or slang or something that
Sorry.
I'm not familiar with.
Rippler? I'm not a globe earther. I'm a Rippler earther. It ripples.
Oh,
Like ripples, like water.
Yeah, yep, exactly. Like waves.
So, can you draw a picture of it and then change it to your profile picture so I can get a visual of it?
Yeah, here. I'm not gonna change my profile picture there.
It's funny you say that. There are some plains here, I believe, just on the east side of the mountains in Montana, where it's like those. You said ripples, which reminded me of it. Like where you get ripples in the sand from when the waves are like a certain
Wind,
a certain height or something. There's like that same phenomenon, just on a gigantic scale on the plains just east of the Rockies in Montana. Evidence of the flood. Anyway, not trying to derail.
The Tartarian flood?
I mean, just the biblical flood, or whatever you want to call it. I mean, it doesn't even necessarily have to be biblical. Like every major ancient culture talks about flood.
How about? Wait, hold on. What is that? Okay. Sorry if you real flat earther. Are they fake flat earthers?
Yes, most definitely. There are people that say things that are dumb to make us sound dumb. Like, for example, I don't even listen. Go ahead.
I said there's a lot of them. I had a conversation with some of them here earlier yesterday, I believe.
There you go. I put it in chat for you.
How do I look at the chat on here? There you go.
Live stream
Yes. No, did you? I'm looking at the chat. I don't see it. I see like a satellite facing up.
Live stream text 1. Here, I'm gonna tag you.
Oh, I got it. I see it.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't believe that either.
That's fine. I'll go manufacture some pictures from outer space for you, and bring them back and put an official NASA logo on there for you, and then you'll believe it.
So y'all really don't think they? So why are y'all not like up in rage with all the money they've been stealing essentially from our taxes, making up these fake missions when they're just making movies? And
so I can answer now. As far as others, I have no idea why, because they don't even believe. Well, some of them do, but most of these people don't believe what I believe. So I have no idea. But I can tell you why there's no rage in me. Why did the heathen rage and imagine a vain thing? Learn not the way of the heathen, for the heathen are dismayed at the signs of heaven. Those are Bible verses, by the way. Like, I can keep going, but like these things don't bother me or get me upset. I try to tell people about it because I want you aware so that you make better choices with your life and don't give your children over to the priesthood. But ultimately what you do is up to you. But you were told. So when your child comes home at 17 and says he wants to lop off his dick and be a girl or whatever, and you're traumatized, just remember, I warned you.
Well, anyway, I bitch about it a lot. Roughly $80 million a day. I mean, it kind of seems like the horse we've beaten to death over and over now. That's one of my main points of contention. I actually started asking Globers that I agree with almost nothing on if they believe that NASA's budget is money well spent. And even Jesse Path of Light instantly agreed that NASA's budget is a wild waste.
I mean, there's a return of investment on their budget, though, right? They make money back.
Well, I like Velcro and stuff, too. But yeah, no, they're not making any money back. From my point of view, we're actually so rich as a culture and a humanity, they've had to invent ways to make us broke, and NASA is just one of the biggest ones.
No, so unlike any other little entity that takes government money, NASA actually has a return of investment.
No, like what, dude? I mean, did you know that like sports and movies and all that combined isn't the same budget as NASA? I mean, it is $80 million a day is nothing to scoff at.
I won't be exact, but I'm sure I looked this up before. But they do get a return of investment. Hold on, I'll look it up exactly. So yes, NASA has a very high return of investment from its programs, even though it's not a profit-driven agency. So a study about NASA's spin-off program showed that for every $1 invested in NASA, the U.S. economy gets $7 to $10 in economic benefits. So that's why nobody's bitching and complaining.
Yeah, pardon me for not believing that.
I mean, we got Elon. He's gonna axe down the door, make sure they're telling the truth.
Yeah, you think so? The South African, the white South African, right? Do you know where the white South Africans came from? Do
Yeah,
you know
I
what their
learned this in
culture is?
elementary school. Yeah.
They're
I got a
German,
better
right? You
question.
understand? So they're German. They come from the Third Reich. They invaded all the way down. They conquered South Africa. Was a territory of the German Empire. Broke apart, but still big Nazi party.
Elon is a Dutch man.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyways, comes from South Africa. Born at that line. NASA Operation Paperclip. Bunch of Nazis, right? I mean, we could pretend that there's degrees of separation if you would like to. I'm not going to. Some other people might. I don't see degrees of separation. I see the same game afoot, and it's hilarious that anybody would think that he would be against his countrymen, because those are his countrymen. Like, it's Germany, it's the empire, it's the royal bloodlines, brother.
So can I give you like a way of looking at it? It's
Sure,
it's
go
going to
ahead.
be a little abstract, but do you know why the treadmill was invented?
The treadmill.
Yes.
The treadmill was invented as a con on the American people for a way for people to run in space or some shit, probably.
Incorrect. It was a punishment tool that was given to prisoners for cruel punishment. They would make them run on a treadmill. But essentially, what I'm saying is something could start off evil and eventually be a good thing. Now
There's
it's
nothing good about a treadmill to this day.
I'm sure you would say that.
Oh, I'll go for a walk. We go for a run, bro. We go running, walk outside, we go hiking. But the last thing you will ever catch me doing is sitting in a gym staring at a mirror while I fucking run in place. No.
Yeah, that's
You know,
just
it's
an example.
interesting what you said about NASA getting the money back. You know, we've got to file our taxes and, you know, account for every dollar we make and spend and where it goes. I'd really love to see the receipts on where they're getting $7 back for every dollar they spend. There's no way. I don't.
I mean, you can look it up, and then you could like go in there with Deutsche team and start skimming through the files, I guess.
I mean, what do they say? They don't really sell products. I mean, the idea that they're, you know, maybe selling technology to other countries or something, I don't think is. You got to look at things through the lens of the Antarctic Treaty, you know? That was kind of when the governments around the world said, hey, let's not fight amongst each other. Let's just fleece the population with, you know, we'll create the problem and then we'll come in with the solution. We'll be the savior. And then, yeah.
And a lot of people just didn't know that part about NASA, that they actually have a return of investment on their money that they get. People just yell out their budget, but I get it. I didn't know that until a few years back too. So, but yeah, like
Yeah,
so
well, I
they
guess
have
I could only.
so I could break down like some of the stuff they did, like infrared air thermometers, memory foams, like their technologies, and then they sell it to for profit. Water purification system, wireless headsets, the GPS improvements, stuff like that. They just fuel entire like private industries, which create jobs, tax revenue, and product. You know, it's just like a full circle. But that's uh, one of the few entities that government or citizens pay taxes into to fund that actually get a return on investment.
I've seen too many fake NASA videos, I guess.
Maybe 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 that's right. Maybe they use some of the good cameramen that they had from NASA and send them off to Hollywood to make millions. You never know.
Hollywood's better in a lot of cases. I mean, some of those movies are fantastic. And it's easy to pick out the flaws in NASA. I mean, they're ham-handed and just some of those green screen and what do you call it? Where they're manipulating objects in 3D space on there. What's that called? God dang it! Somebody help me.
What do you need help with?
It's called
Logic?
augmented reality.
Augmented reality. Thank you, Jeremy. Yeah, like so. Notorious D. Like, have you seen any of those videos? Like, where they're, you know, like clearly fake and they've got, you know.
They're not clearly fake, but definitely poor quality. Maybe just like some type of pigmentation or compression issue with the videos. I've seen that angle before. I heard that angle before.
Do you really think men walked on the moon?
Yes.
Do you think men played golf on the moon while wearing diapers?
Yes.
Do you think men played golf on the moon wearing diapers while in the most extreme survival situation any human has ever faced?
They didn't play golf per se. They didn't play like holes or nothing like that. But yeah.
So like, even here on Earth, like if you were in a survival situation, you wouldn't stop to play golf. Like you're next to certain doom, and the most gruesome death ever if you make a mistake. But they're out there swinging golf clubs, and for all intents and purposes is a military operation. Like there's just a lot of things that don't logically check out about just the moon
So
landings
you
alone.
agreed that they went to the moon, or you just saying it's all fake?
Oh no.
No, nobody went to the moon. Nobody went to the moon. We didn't go to the moon again recently either, even though we all sat in here and watched that, and it was hilarious because the Globers went here and like, oh, we're going to go to the moon. And then they crashed the drone. But then, of course, the next day they were like, oh, we recovered some footage for you. And then, of course, all the Globers were like, see, look at the footage. And we're just kind of laughing because it's like an abysmal, hilarious failure, CGI, the whole thing. It was obvious it was CGI, and we had Globers trying to tout it as real. And then they came out and was like, oh, no, it's all a CGI reproduction because we don't have cameras on it. And then the Globers were like, oh, and they disappeared. But they showed back up again for the final experiment, of course, because I guess that meant something to them. We're not going to the moon, Notorious D. I'm sorry to tell you.
We already did it. We moved on to Mars now.
Okay. I fully support your choice to go get on that rocket.
So do you think
it's a euthanization ride? They're not sending you to Mars, but I fully support your choice.
I don't think they send like humans to Mars, did they? I'm not sure. Or the claim, let's say claim for.
Well, not yet, but they have a date, they have a goal. Like Trump and Elon have already set that. They're like they want to get to Mars by like 2050 or some shit, right?
Yeah,
So
I'll post the link where you can apply. I think you have to pay a fee to apply so they don't get trolled.
Yeah, so you can in your lifetime. There you go. I mean, the euthanization project is underway. They know what they want to do. You show up to a big, you're gonna show up to a big facility where you think you're gonna go get on a rocket, and they're gonna have like rocket launches. You're gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna get on a rocket, but really they're gonna euthanize you, and that rocket's just getting launched out into the Pacific, recovered and shot again, because it's easier and cheaper to just do that than try to feed all the people that they don't need anymore because they've replaced you all with robots.
They'll just use AI to render any video they need to propagandize the rest of the population. I realize it seems a little far-fetched, but it's definitely within the realm of possibilities today.
So what else do y'all
A grim
believe?
prospect.
Let's move on to another subject, because I realize with flat earthers they believe in a lot of like other conspiracy theories. So like the Tartarians, can I be informed about the Tartarians? That's
We're
kind of
not
like
universal. We're not universal on some of these subjects, but go ahead.
In fact,
So you wanna-
I would actually prefer if you would go find some Tartarians and bring them back here to me so that I can mock them and ridicule them, because I love history. History was my favorite subject, and I hate the whole Tartaria thing to death. I hate it. So go find some Tartarians to bring them to me so that
I can't find them. It's like one guy that has like a book that he republished and made like a leather hard case, like a hardcover. But yeah, so we can move on. Y'all believe in that? I respect you guys for leaving that alone.
Quap's a Tartarian.
Who?
There's a guy that comes here named Quap.
Yeah, he doesn't like me. Q-Op doesn't like me at all.
Nobody likes
argue
you.
with me. That's fine.
Newsflash.
That's fine.
All right, so JFK. JFK is, I think, if y'all just JFK doubters or whatever you want to call it, I would respect that one a little bit more. There's a lot
of us have a lot of different views on JFK. I personally think they did kill him because he was going to shut down the Federal Reserve. Same reason why they killed Abraham Lincoln, was going to introduce the greenback. There's a lot of money at play with this Federal Reserve money system, and these people aren't fucking playing. So,
I mean, see, that's not too far fetched. You know what I mean? Like, and around that time, it's a different era. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't as high tech as you would. I mean, even now you can see Trump getting quote unquote hit in the air. You know what I mean? So things like that happen.
there are some people here that think he never died. That think the Zapruder film wasn't real and he didn't die. Which, I mean, who knows?
Yeah, we like argue amongst ourselves all the time about these things, and we, like Jeremy said, we don't agree on a lot,
How about 9/11?
Inside job all day long.
Yep.
Dude, there's so much shady shit with 9/11. It's ridiculous.
No, but
that's what got most of these guys started. Like, I've been innocent. Like, I was in a conspiracy since like the 90s. Like, I knew the moon landing was fake in the 90s. That's just stupid. But a lot of these guys, 9/11 set them off into the, into the conspiracy realm.
Yeah.
Into the upper ionosphere.
You can't use the word sphere in here. Who said that?
So Jeremy, I have to ask, what's your being one of the mods in here, where are you standing now with the whole thing that's gone down with Wizit?
With what?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
With Wizit? Yeah, everything that happened with Wizit. I mean, this was pretty much his spot up until that point. Like, y'all were his mods. Geo, this was his room with Geo. Like they were partners in that.
I don't know what you're talking about. Witsit came in from time to time. He spent a lot of time here. We probably have more hours of Witsit live streaming than Witsit has of himself live streaming.
Yeah, especially leading up to and during TFE. Yeah.
Just throughout the years. I mean, he did like 12-hour bangers in here all the time. Yeah, he was up in here. But what's the question now? He ain't been around in a minute. He was in Ether Cosmology the other night, I heard.
So it was just like a leader in here or a founder that converted over, or is that what I'm hearing?
No, he's still a flat earther. He's one of the better debaters. He's probably up there with like me.
That's fine.
It's not funny though. That's the truth.
Jesus, dude, do not throw out your shoulder patting yourself on the back, bro.
I love straight humor, Jeremy.
I'm nice, dude. I don't know if you guys have heard me debate and shit. Like you think there's other people that can like come close to me?
Shane, Allen, Witsit, Stone, they're clearly on another level from the rest of us, dude. I'm not saying you're not smart enough, it's just that they put the time in.
They're all right. I don't know. I heard Shane get a little beat up here and there.
I think almost every flat earther, like in a debate with a median moderator that's in the middle, or I think flat earthers always lose.
Wow, that's crazy because our side clearly and decisively has the logic. You know? I mean, for example, like when I'm standing somewhere and I'm 100 miles from a butte in Montana, I'm telling you that you're actually looking straight at the butte, but a glober says, nah, man, that's a refracted image, coming around a corner for all intents and purposes.
Are you looking at Butte, Montana? You looking at me?
Oh, that's funny. No, I was saying a butte in Montana. I was just referencing the longest distance observation that I've actually done myself.
Oh, I get you.
I'm 100 miles down the road from you, just outside of Bozeman.
You better close those blinds. We can see right in on you.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Hey, you want to go shooting? You want to go to the range? Shit, you're right at the road. I mean, genuinely, I drive all over the place. Like I was in North Dakota last week. Last year I was in Tennessee. So
I would never go to like a gun range with a flat earther. It's too dangerous.
that is okay, whatever. Anyways.
Oh yeah, so what I was saying though about logic and flat earthers. Go ahead, Notorious.
No, I mean, you just use some of the ones with like
us. We're the ones that know the bullet's moving. You guys don't even know if the bullet's moving or not.
The bullet should be moving with our logic, right? Because how fast is a bullet moving? Roughly?
No, with your logic, there is no absolute motion.
Oh yeah, I think you had that conversation yesterday with relative motion.
We've had it millions of times, dude. You guys never know what's moving.
I think the guy uppercutted you and left hooked you a couple times in that conversation. That's pretty interesting.
So like, out of everybody.
Can you repeat that? I didn't hear it.
I think you got beat up with that motion conversation with the young man.
I'm pretty sure you left.
Yeah, I was about to.
No, he's losing service.
You guys don't know what's. How can I get beat up when you guys? How can I get beat up? You guys don't moving.
No, he was driving. I think he had like bad service.
I know when we go to the shooting range. I know when we go to the shooting range, the bullet's moving. You guys don't know what's moving.
I mean, that was an argument. But I feel like he won that argument. I gave him the W, sir.
So I was actually in the middle of a response to you yesterday when you left, because Jeremy's the one that popped up and interrupted me and let me know that you left. So you left. You didn't win anything. So that's
you talking about.
You didn't even say that you needed to leave. You didn't state a reason why. You were you were getting very cohesive retorts. You didn't really have anywhere to go, and you just left. Like, we could play it back if we need to. Do you know what time you were here? Like, you can hear my response to you, and you can pick up from there.
You talking about the conversation about different pressures in a container?
I think we were talking about equilibrium, like seeking equilibrium.
No, that was the other
guy. When you pressurize a container, like what occurs, like it's an equalized pressure throughout the container, not a gradient. And I think you were the one on gradient. You were the one who were trying to say that a pressure differential was a gradient, and it's not. A gradient is a gradual decrease or increase from one pressure to another, which means that there's a series of measurements that could be taken throughout the containment. Whereas a differential is just, I have 120 psi here, I have 130 psi on the other, but inside the containment, I don't have a gradient. It's just, for whatever reason, on one certain area, maybe I have 130 or 122 psi. You just have a differential. So two differences is a differential. You need multiple series of measurements for a gradient. That point was being made to you when you left. Jeremy was trying to make that point. So was I.
No, but I would think the conversation started with, can you have a gradient of pressure without a container, right? I think that's where we started, right?
I thought we were talking about the definition of gradient.
No, so gradient can be used for like a bunch of stuff. As I remember, I think I was telling you it could be a gradient of colors, or it could be a gradient of anything. You know what I mean? But
Yes,
what
but
was your rebuttal to that?
if I walk into a room and the floor is black and the wall is white, there's not a gradient of colors. There's a difference of colors. But if I walk into a room and one side of the floor is red and the other side is black, and all along the way it changes through the series of shades of reds all the way through the browns into the black, that's a gradient.
Okay, so you saying the fan is not creating a gradient?
What? No, I didn't. What do you mean by the fan? That's where
No.
Jeremy can pick up. You were in that conversation with him.
So you're saying the fan, like if you
That
had
was Dieslow. Hold on, man. Dieslow is in that conversation. You guys are fucking confused. You don't even know who's who. Maybe figure out that was Dieslow and not me before we go on.
Oh, my bad. Y'all sound alike.
Yeah, because he conceded defeat, I think. After
No, we
a while.
don't, dude.
Yeah, he conceded defeat. I respect him for conceding defeat on that topic right there.
Yeah, wrongfully did that. And bare minimum, it's a kinematic equivalent, or just an equivalent altogether. You know.
No, he conceded defeat. I remember, but
Well,
So
yeah,
we-
some flat earthers don't know as much as others. You know, like there's no pressure possible in the heliocentric model. Like the omnidirectional endless void of a -17 torr would be more than sufficient to rip all of the gas from this place.
okay, let's stick to this. The claim was you couldn't create a gradient of pressure without a container, and me bringing up go ahead.
I was gonna say here's another problem with that too, just to get it out of the way, because like even your experiment is actually taking place within this container that we're in right now.
So you're saying that there's a container that we're living in, the dome? You believe in the dome theory
yeah.
and part of your flat Earth model?
Well, it has to be there necessarily because the container is
It has to be.
necessitated by physics.
You said it has to be there.
Yeah, well, it's necessitated by physics. I mean, you know.
Okay, so like flat earthers always say, can you show us a demonstration of this container or experiment?
Yeah, it's one of those impasses where we can't do anything outside of the container we're already in.
I'm sorry, can you prove there's a container there, like that it exists? Is there any way you can prove it? Has it been proven?
So I would, yeah.
Because
so
this
we
would just
can.
be just
It
like
actually,
gravity.
it actually has been proven. What you're proposing is the opposite of all the proofs that we have. What you're
No, so I
proposing
wanna
is
see
the
the
opposite
proof.
of all the proofs we have. So all
Listen,
the proofs
buddy.
we have show us that in order to measure these pressures, we need a container. All of our knowledge shows us that if we want to understand how our atmosphere orders itself, we need to shrink things down to the lab frame, and we have to pressurize a containment vessel. What we know is that if we take that containment vessel, once we've instituted the gradient within it between the nitrogen, the hydrogen, the oxygen, the helium, and all the other gases that make up our atmos as it orders itself through the layers, when we do that in the lab frame, if you were to open that containment in a vacuum of even 1/10 the strength of what we claim space is, it will equalize within that space immediately, disperse immediately.
All right,
So
listen.
what I want, so all of our proofs show that a vacuum overcomes a pressure gradient, okay, and will cause it to disperse equally throughout the space available. But what you're proposing is infinite available space at a vacuum that we cannot create, a vacuum strength that we cannot create. And what you want to propose is that somehow, despite this infinite space, all of this matter and all of this gas decided to just start ordering itself in the universe, and that we
Okay.
have a special place. We have a special place, but we're not special. Right.
All
I
right.
mean, when you analyze your beliefs down to their core, what are you really proposing? The opposite of everything we
Okay,
You got to
so-
wrap it up at some point, bro.
Yeah, no, because you interrupted me. It's because I was asking for proof of the container that you're saying. You said container. Now I want you to prove that there is an invisible container that I can't see with my naked eye and no one has found, as I know. So, do you have evidence of this? Do you have proof of this? Do you have
Gas
experiments?
pressure is the evidence.
What?
Gas
it
pressure
requires a
is
container
the
as an
evidence.
antecedent.
No,
It's
the
an
container.
antecedent requirement.
The
So
container.
the lab frame shows us what gas will do next to a vacuum. The fact that
So
I
what is the
exist within a
container? Explain the
pressurized container tells
You
me
just-
that I'm in that container. You have what is called a
You're
claim
just
of
saying
incredulity.
container.
You're saying I don't see it, therefore it doesn't
No,
exist.
you can't see it, prove it,
Despite
or
the
explain it.
evidence is that you are in a container by the order of
Why
gases
does this
in a
guy cut me
gradient.
off? Like he
It's
literally
a
We
got
gotta
necessary
we gotta
evidence
go one at a
for
time,
gas
guys. Hold on
pressure
a
to
second,
exist.
please. Arwen,
There
can
has
you
to
hear
be a
me?
limitation
Arwen,
to
can
the
you hear me?
volume
Please, Arwen.
in which the gas
Can you hear Arwen? Can you hear me?
All right, so look,
Please
let's
don't
start this
hold on,
over.
guys. I'm getting order of this. Hold on. We gotta go one
All
at
right,
a
go ahead.
time. Okay, we gotta go one at a time. So
All right,
please.
so
let's
listen
go.
carefully.
Yo, my
with
man.
I mean, I was talking. I got cut off by.
I know. I'm trying to regain order of the room. Can you let me do it or not?
Go ahead, bro.
Like you were part of the reason why I'm interjecting. You were the one interrupting. Now let's all go one at a time, please. Let this guy go first. Let's try not to dogpile him. What do you say?
Thank you. Can I go now?
Yes. Stop talking.
Okay,
now,
so
yes.
the container that you speak of. I don't want to hear anything else. Let's start there, okay? You're saying that pressurized. Your claim was pressurized container and a gradient could not be existing without a container. And now you're telling me there is a container now, right? So this is a different claim from the original claim that me and the other guy had yesterday. He said there's no way you can have a gradient of pressure because there is no container. And then now this is a whole different claim and a whole different fight that there is a container. And I want you to explain the container, and that's it. Just the container. Don't tell me anything else. Just explain the container. Drop the link, drop the data, drop the information, drop the whatever. Done.
Do you need to see the cow to know that steak you're eating
This
is
is
cow?
crazy. This is
You instantly interrupted him, dude. Come on, man. You just complained about getting interrupted, and then you instantly interrupted. I gotta just put you on. If anyone interrupts, I'm gonna put you on temp mute. Okay? It's just temporary. It'll be just for a minute until the other person's finished talking.
Okay, so do you want me to explain to you the containment that we would have to use? You're not going to be able to do this as an individual. Okay, so now we have to get involved in industry, which means we need teams. Okay, so this is not something you're going to solo observe because you need a larger container, because if you're in the lab frame with a small container like a beaker, you're going to have an equalized pressure even if you mix gases. But if we increase the size, the volume of that containment to a large size, say something like we see at a refinery, okay, with our crackers, we can then introduce mixed gases, okay, to an equalized pressure at the point of entry, okay, but it will then order itself as it's allowed to settle through its buoyancy because it's mixed gases, and then you can measure a gradient, okay. But if you take that container of a mixed gradient and you put it inside a vacuum and release it, because you have to understand that this containment it's in itself already pulled a vacuum on and then pressurized with these gases, so it is free from outside influences, so it is in fact in a lab frame. So then if you take this container and then you open it up next to a vacuum, it will disperse violently, rapidly to seek equilibrium. This is a fundamental fact.
I think you lost him.
No, I'm here. I was just trying to stay quiet. And so no, you cannot show me the herbs container that you said that exists. So that's all you had to say. You didn't have to tell me about a container.
Well, that's what you asked about.
No,
we
so
don't know what it looks like. We don't know what it's made of. We don't know the shape. All we know is it's there.
Okay, so
You're
you
asking for
cannot
gas
prove herbs
value,
container that we live in. You cannot prove it. So I need
No,
you
you
guys to
prove it by proving that you have gas pressure, because according to the second law of thermodynamics, natural law, you can't have pressure of gas
read the
without a
second law.
container.
Can you read the definition of it?
Sure. It's also synonymous with the law of entropy. You want me to read it for you?
Yeah, read the second one, because it's going to say a word in the definition that you guys don't believe in. Go ahead.
Okay, so the second law of thermodynamics states heat always flows spontaneously from hotter to colder regions of matter. The entropy of the entire universe as an isolated system will always increase over time. Okay, which means they literally, instead of saying that.
No, read the whole thing.
Okay, yeah, sure. Energy is wasted as it is transferred or transformed. Heat does not spontaneously pass from a colder body to a warmer body. Energy will not flow spontaneously from a low temperature object to a higher temperature object. There you go. That's the second law of thermodynamics.
All right, so I'm going to read my definition because he's leaving stuff out purposely. All right, 1 second.
I don't know if he's leaving stuff out. He may just be reading a different thing than you have. So.
Well, that was in bulletin form, point by point. I guess he wants it as Newton stated it, or whoever it was.
I mean, he could just tell us the word or something like.
It's gravity. It's gravity. Gravity is mentioned. That's why it is.
Where is the word gravity in the second law of thermodynamics?
First of all, we believe in gravity. I mean, I believe things fall.
Little g. Little g. Little g is fine so long as we understand what little g is, because little g, as called gravity, gravitas, weight is just a measurement. That's all it is. It's just a measurement. We know that things fall. Galileo put it forth, the law of falling bodies, redubbed gravitas.
Yeah, gravitas is not gravity. It's not bending pseudo-Riemannian force space-time or mass attracting mass. It's gravitas, the heaviness.
Let the bodies hit the floor.
1 second.
I think you've been talking to the wrong flat earthers.
No, I definitely haven't, because you still haven't explained this container that we live in.
We explained the container. It's there because you have gas pressure. What else do you need to know about the container? You want to know what it tastes like?
No.
Going nowhere. The conversation's gone 0.0 miles per hour.
I agree, man. It sounds like you're not wanting to progress the conversation because the answer's been given to you. You can't have a God's eye view.
You did not
of
explain this
it.
imaginary
Oh, you're
container dome
interrupting
we
me,
live in.
bro. You're interrupting again. You see what I mean? You're not here in good faith. I don't think you are, really.
Notice how it's all easy to infer the globe model. Just throw out the second law of thermodynamics and any other law of physics that gets in the way.
I'm just curious, how would you describe a container? Like a container that you think is real? Like how are you going to describe it? You're just talking about its shape, or what? How would you describe it?
A limitation of the available volume in which gas could spread out.
But like, how about Notorious though? He keeps telling us to explain the container. I mean, what does he want to know about it? It's just that it's there. That's all you know. That's all you need to know.
No, see, that's the problem. That's the problem right there. You don't know
What do you
like.
know?
So the container would be the atmosphere, but you don't believe in that.
Gas is not a container. Gas does not contain gas. What are you talking about?
Gas doesn't contain gas. That's horseshit.
Citation
Absolute
for gas
horseshit.
containing anything. Go ahead. One single example of gas ever being used as a container. Go ahead.
Hold on, I gotta pull up some files for you, flat earthers. I have them. Hold 1 second.
You know the container's there because you're breathing pressurized air. That's it. It's that simple. There's no getting around it. It's not even an argument. It's just a fact.
So gas is containing gas, and then there's gas containing the gas, and then there's gas containing the gas, and it's all adjacent to a vacuum.
I got a better one there while we were. I wanted to say something about his the NASA creating every dollar spent creates like $10 or $11 or something, whatever bullshit. Did you know that NASA's budget just got slashed by like 22%?
Nice.
If they were creating a bunch of freaking money, why wouldn't you just keep increasing it? And if $1 creating 7 or 11 or whatever the hell he said, wouldn't you just like, hey, make it freaking a trillion? Because you're gonna make, a 7 trillion from it, right? Create $7 trillion worth of whatever in the United States.
Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Yeah, in 2017, you have the presidential allotment, right, to the NASA budget, and Trump made it the perfect amount so that it was Masonically, satanically, 66. It was like 6,600 or something like $666 a second was being spent. You know how the stats are always like, oh, you've spent 5 seconds hearing me talk, and Bill Gates made $88,000.
There's this constant theme of, yes, it's a globe, but we just have to throw out known laws of physics to make it happen.
So the container that you guys are talking about, it's called. I know you're not gonna believe it, but whatever. It's called the atmosphere. Okay, that's the container that you guys are talking about that we live under.
Atmosphere is the gas. What's containing the atmosphere? What's containing the gas?
It's held. What is held in place? What's holding it in
vacuum
place?
of space holds the gas.
How's it not getting
That's
stuck
called-
out into the vacuum?
It's called Earth's
The
gravity.
vacuum of space holds the
It's
gas.
called Earth's gravity. Which
Earth's
keeps
gravity?
gases from getting off into
Where
space.
does gas come from?
What do you mean where gas comes from?
It's a simple question.
What gas?
The gas that you're saying is making up the atmosphere that is containing the gas below it. Where does the gas come from?
An atmosphere? I'm confused.
Oh, do you know what an atmosphere is?
Yeah.
What?
It's like a barrier that.
No, it's not.
protecting us.
It's gas. Why don't you read me the definition of atmosphere?
I gave you like a real just.
You made us read the second law of thermodynamics. I want you to read atmosphere
here
definition.
Listen, here you go. You're not gonna believe this part of it though, right? So, this is so funny.
Stop prefacing everything with guessing what I'm gonna think.
So, a lot of water vapors, right, were on Earth's early atmosphere. And then the Earth cooled down a little bit.
What are you talking about? What is the definition of atmosphere?
Yeah, we don't need to know
It's CO2.
I don't need your fucking fairy tale, bro.
So I'll handle this. I'll handle it. An atmosphere.
Just let him read the definition, guys. Come on.
An atmosphere. Hold
on, he's not. That's not him reading it. Are you gonna read the definition or not?
Yeah, I'll read it for you 1 second, bro.
All right.
Do you guys see what's going on here? I'm gonna check you guys out.
Well, he was just going to make one up in his head to be fallacious. And
No, I was going to just give you like a
Well, he already did make one up. He made it up and said it's a barrier.
I was
Thanks, man.
I got it pulled up. I'll just read the definition. And
All
get
right, so
past
I'll
it.
read it real quick, man. Here
Yeah,
you
he
go.
should read it.
So the layer of gases that surrounds the planet.
Oh, stop. Gases. How are those gases not getting sucked out? And second of all, where do those
Gravity.
gases come from?
Gravity.
Okay, so now I ask you, where do those gases come from that make up the atmosphere?
Like, do y'all not this is like
Do
Bill
you
Nye
not
kind of
understand
stuff.
my question? Is that why?
No, because I've
You're
asked
not
you what a
responsive.
container is, and now I'm getting drilled about what everyone knows
I told
is
you, a container is okay. You were saying that you can have gas pressure adjacent to a vacuum because of gravity. Gravity is holding the gas down. Where does gas come from? It comes from the ground. It comes from plants. It comes from the ocean. It comes from chemical reactions that are happening on the ground.
Yes.
Gravity is not holding it down. It's going straight up. That's one of the first vectors the gases go when they leave whatever chemical reaction that happened. They're going up. There's no gravity holding it down. So why is gas not escaping the vacuum? It's not gravity. Gas doesn't
It is
fall.
gravity. That's
There's no
the
puddle.
definition.
There's no puddle of gas. Gas doesn't go down. It doesn't fall. It
It
goes
goes
and expands in every direction. It's called Brownian motion. It fills the
up.
entire volume of the container, which allows it to have walls to press against and create pressure.
Yeah, there were two mistakes made yesterday by flat earthers. They gave you concessions that were then quickly amended that I don't think you ever addressed. One of those was Dieslow's concession on what the word gradient meant that was then hotly contested afterwards, which you left on. And the second was this point right here, which I made the mistake of saying that in a container of a vacuum, gases will fall to the bottom. And then I quickly was like, no, wait, they equalize because of the effect that he just described. So even in the lab frame, we don't see your gravity. We see the gases expand rapidly within the vacuum and fill it equally.
Okay, so we could go back to the first example. I don't know if you remember the first example of the gradient, right? It was just us going up a mountain, and the pressure differentiates by how high you go, right? That would work. No problem with that.
Yeah. So why isn't gas getting sucked into a 10 to the negative 17th floor vacuum?
Again, because the word gravity.
Okay. Again, where does gas come from?
It comes from the earth.
Okay, and goes up. What happened to the gravity then?
You ever put like helium in a balloon and it goes up? Why does it go up, not down?
That's buoyancy. And guess what that helium is in? A container.
So that's gas, and gas is lighter than air, and it goes up. Different gases.
Yeah, that's a density disequilibrium. Yeah, congratulations. How is the gas not as... Why is gravity not holding gas down when it's made, but it's holding it down when it's adjacent to a vacuum?
Heavier container.
What container?
And
so you get a tank. So you can go to air gas, right? Every town has like an air gas place, right? You can go get helium out of a container. It comes in like a steel container with a little twist cap at the top.
Why does it come in a gas container?
Can I talk, man? Why am I trying to get trying to bully?
Well, because you said earlier that you could just keep gases in their gas container, bro.
Right,
but now you're saying
I'll wait for y'all to stop talking and then I'll talk. Just let me know when y'all done.
Oh, bro, you've been talking.
Yeah, guys,
bro.
don't interrupt me. Let him finish his thing. Come up.
Pardon.
Right. So gas doesn't just go in the air because it's in heavier containers, right? If you go to any local air gas place, you could just buy a tank of helium, tank of oxygen, whatever you want. So if you put, see, that's what I'm talking about, man. Like, this is crazy. Like, I'm trying to explain, and then I get yawns and interrupted. Please, man, please. It's not an emotional thing.
You're just non-responsive, and you're dragging shit out.
No, because you're asking me why gas doesn't go up in the air, because they concentrated it in a container. The way you could display that the helium is lighter than air is when you put it in a balloon, something that a skinnier, lighter container, and it would go where? Up to the sky.
Thank you. So is that a concession?
Containers.
Hold on. Is that a concession that you need a container to contain gas?
No, it's just showing you that different gases weigh differently. That's all that shows.
No, every time you
Because
have
oxygen.
every time.
No, because
hold on. We let you speak. Now you're gonna.
No, you interrupted me
No,
from the very beginning
you
with
just
this little random question.
Dude,
No,
you
you yelled and ran at random question. So air comes in these containers. If you go to your gas plant, you could get a tank of air too. You can fill it up with the same balloon that weighs the same amount, and it won't go up to the sky for a reason. Do you know why?
Right.
Because all gases don't weigh the same. No, all gases don't weigh the same. Some gases are heavier than others.
Gas has no weight. Stop it.
Yeah, it's less denser
What are you
than the
talking
other
about?
gas.
This is crazy.
How do you weigh gas? What are you talking about?
Wait, when you went to get your helium, why didn't you just get it in the gravity?
How do you think I paid for it? How do you think?
Right?
Okay, look. How did I pay for it? How do you think I paid for it?
Just use the gravity to hold it down. You don't need
did I? So when I bought it, hold on.
Need one.
Okay, all right. Right. Okay, so when I went to this air gas plant, right? How did I pay for it? How do you pay for gas?
So when you put it under pressure in a propane tank, that gas becomes liquid, no longer gaseous, now liquid, different state of matter. It will have weight. Yes.
No, that's incorrect. I've actually been to these places I buy with large quantities of gas. So
Yes.
before, it's literally gas that's in a
It's
container,
gas
and it
and
weighs
so
in a
differently.
container that turns into liquid at high
oxygen in
pressure.
there. Yes, I buy propane every freaking
Guys,
week.
this
It
is
weighs.
messy,
It
Bear. I don't
weighs
know why you
different. All right,
started
so how do you
talking just now because
how
there
do you
was
buy
already two
propane?
people talking, and now I'm talking, and this guy's talking. Guys, we got to go one at a time, man.
Okay, so
I'm
I
just gonna
just have
temp
one
mute. If
question.
anyone interrupts, I'm temp muting you. Don't get mad. Don't leave in frustration. It's only temporary.
Okay, so the person that's saying that gas doesn't have like a weight or measurement, when you go by your propane, what metric do you buy it in?
I buy it in its weight in liquid.
So how do you, so you can measure it? It's measurable. You don't
In
go by
liquid form,
buoyancy.
you can measure a weight.
Hold on. And how do you measure buoyancy?
What are you talking about?
Because you said it doesn't weigh nothing. It's all about buoyancy, right? You said that it has no weight and it's buoyancy,
Gas
right?
has no weight. No.
Okay, so how do you buy it then? How do you buy it? How do you buy it?
So when you put gas
compress
into a
it.
container, it gets compressed and it changes from gas to liquid. When it's liquid and it's on a scale, liquid has weight. So you're weighing the portion of the gas under pressure that has become a liquid.
So are you saying that when you turn it to liquid versus the gas, there's a difference, or is it the same?
There's a difference. One is in a gaseous state and one
Is
is
there a
in a
difference
liquid
in weight?
state.
I'm sorry, I forgot to add that. Is there a difference in
Gas
weight?
has no weight. Liquid has weight.
Okay, so how do you buy it? Is it a gallon? Or like, how do you do it? How many gallons is it?
I don't think so. Liquid oxygen is used, but I don't think that's what you get from air gas when you go get your acetylene torches and stuff like that. I think liquid oxygen is harder to manufacture, or harder to. It's harder to create, easier to store. You store more of it, but it's mostly used in like refineries. It's more expensive.
Propane,
No,
I
so,
buy it by the gallon. By the gallon
so,
because it's
thank
Yeah,
you.
propane
Thank
is
you.
liquid.
So it's measurable.
It depends on the gas. It depends on the gas. Like argon, when you go get argon, you're not going to get liquid argon. And to the temperatures that you would have to go to get liquid argon, like picking that bottle up would be dangerous. It would be a dangerous bottle. Same with the oxygen. It would be a very dangerous bottle. Like those are kept especially in cold storage houses. They're loaded at the cold storage house and used in the refining process. Like you can store more of it at a time, but it's more dangerous because of its form.
And it's gas, right? It's not liquid.
When you go to air gas to get oxygen, you're getting it in its high pressure gas form. When you get acetylene, you're getting liquid. When you get propane, you're getting liquid. When you get argon, you're getting high pressure gas. So it just depends on what you're getting.
Okay, so
All
so
oxygen
there
actually crystallizes into solids under pressure.
no.
Propane101.com, propane exists in its liquid form at around 100 to 200 psi, and that is the pressure that propane tanks are using so that the propane gas remains in a liquid state.
Yeah, but I think he's trying to get to the point where he said when you buy it, how do you buy it? And it's pound per square inch.
Yeah.
So so it has a weight, right? It's not.
No, that's not a weight. That's
What
the
is it then?
pound of pressure.
Yeah,
that it
PSI is not
exerts.
weight. So
No.
gravity plus or PSI are not the same. PSI is barometric pressure.
Well, no,
So
when
it's
you buy
pressure
propane,
pushing
they weigh it.
against the containment.
He's right, though. When you go buy propane, they weigh it. So that's how you know how much you're buying is based on the weight. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes.
Yeah, and what I'm trying to explain again to you, as is now like the fourth time, that propane under pressure, which is what you get, gas pressure, when it's put into the tank, the container, gas pressure container, when you put enough pressure, the state of the matter changes state from gas to liquid.
That's
Once it
correct.
becomes liquid, you will now be able to weigh that portion of gas. Well, it's not gas anymore, it's liquid. It's a portion of propane that's in liquid form.
That's right. That's why the weight of it is directly connected up to a certain level of pressure, a certain level of compression. Because if you just had half the compression, well, then the weight ratio would be completely different. Right? So anytime you get weight, cost per weight, it's going to be based on a specific level of pressurization.
No, I'm watching gold prices right now. So all right, back to the whatever. We just had a whole.
Before you go back to that, let me just throw this in. I would say gas has weight inside of a container for sure. We can check that, but outside of a container, you don't know if gas has weight, and it's not crazy or magical that things would lose their weight to a glober, because even in the glober paradigm, when you're free falling or in there's a neutrally buoyant environment, you have places where things will have no weight. So
Hey, so I left last time because I was in the middle of some trades and stuff. Give me a second. I'll be back online. Y'all got this room open a lot, but I'll be back to try to convert you guys into Globers. Be back in
Convert
like.
us to your religion, your beliefs.
Yes.
Good luck
I'll
with
be
that.
back.
You're gonna show gas pressure without a container first.
Well, I'd like
did
to
already.
know how gravity is supposed to even be a container. Like, how is
Gravity's not the
a
container.
thought-off force, which isn't actually a force, supposed to be a container, which is basically a solid
He's out.
barrier that prevents the gas from expanding further within the
He left.
available volume.
He
How is
actually,
gravity doing that? How could it do that? It
yeah,
can't. There
he
is no
just
theoretical way that it can, unless you treat gases like liquids by basically calling them fluids and then just pretending like they're liquids, and that it's a liquid layer on top of another liquid layer, which is not what gases do. They mix in. They don't form layers, and they don't have a standard downward vector like liquids do, because they
and he
don't have.
just and he just admitted gravity isn't the container.
We did. All right.
Yeah.
That's
Well, that's a start.
But I'd be more likely to believe that in the 70s, with their rockets that kept blowing up, they measured the height of the fucking dome and then ice picked a bunch of satellites into that motherfucker long before I believe they're going into space.
Yeah, I believe that they literally are like, imagine the top of like your baseball stadium that has a dome, and they got like beakers hanging off the top and freaking lights and shit. I believe that way before, right? That something's going
Yeah,
into
and
the
here's one thing.
vacuum of space.
And here's one thing that bothers me. Human error. Human error bothers me because no matter how good their math was in the 1970s, we know that you have to account for human error. So even if they were able to resolve these orbital patterns for the satellites so that TV satellites could be stationary, so that, your dish network, yada, 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 could actually receive, some satellite signal from space, as they claim, then how come the same dishes that are out in the yard since the 1970s, pointing at the same direction, can still pick up a TV signal to this day? Meaning that they got that orbit so perfect that it has not deviated at all. Man, humans, whew, I didn't know we got that good. I just didn't. Them Nazis, bro, I swear. They had it.
Well, the only way any object could theoretically be in a perfect orbit is if no forces in any form would apply to it in order for it to gradually change its orbit. So if there's a perfect orbit that remains perfect for all time, the only logical, sensible conclusion would be it's not a physical object to which forces apply, because if it would be, then it could never have a perfectly stable orbit for all eternity.
It would never be. Orbits are always elliptical most of the time. I mean, that's what they say, which is just stupid. To say that the sun's pulling shit or the Earth's pulling shit, whatever, the moon's going around something, or we're going around the sun and it's elliptical. Like, I thought gravity was a constant. Like, wouldn't it pull it? Shouldn't it be a circular orbit?
No,
we got some big
the point.
stupid reason
No.
for that. Whatever, but
So
still,
there's a logical reason behind that, because it's basically a fall and then moving away, then it gets pulled back and then it falls again. So it's like a two-step falling motion that causes the supposed elliptical orbit. Idea of it.
even if freaking around the sun, we get the idea, but like, I don't know. We're falling around the sun then? Is that what they say? We're falling around it?
Well, orbits are technically considered a perpetual falling motion within circular fashion. Which is,
Isn't that freaking silly? Yeah.
Yeah. Right? You're always falling in outer space. That's why it's supposed to be feeling like that. Because it's the dropping away of the constant downward vector effect. That's what it's supposed to be. So if it's gone and something is moving in a circular fashion, that means that it's literally like it is falling, but in a circle.
I just think circular orbits sound better for some made-up bullshit. I don't know why.
Well, you got to thank the guy who made up satellites for that. He invented the idea of circular orbits.
Oh, did he?
Again? What's his name again? Sci-fi
No
writer.
idea. Oh, shit. And it wasn't not talking about Hubbard. Guys.
Barry, hot micing or
Orwell?
No.
Not
No, the guy
Orwell,
that satellites. I mean, you could probably Google it.
Barry was hot micing there. Almost put you in a hot mic room. Anyways, what's what's the topic? Good to see everyone. Good to see you guys.
Yeah. Likewise.
A lot of people just cleared out. Probably when
Yeah,
Harris
it's
started
Arthur C.
talking.
Clarke.